Our next guest is a student leader at FAMU Law with a lot of responsibility. She is the president of the Student Bar Association. Tracy Guervil is here, and welcome to Legal Connections, Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us about the Student Bar Association. What does it do?
Well, the Student Bar Association serves as a representative for the student body. We work in conjunction with the Office of Student Affairs, and we represent student issues with faculty and both with Office of Student Affairs. Through my position as the Student Bar Association president, I ensure that the communication between all three parties maintain a two-way street and ensure that all student needs are met.
So you're regulating things there.
Pretty much.
Tell us about the law school experience. For people who don't know, going to an HBCU law school as well, what is the experience like for you, and what has it been? Is it like what you thought it was going to be?
Well, for my class in particular, our class was the groundbreaking class, meaning we're the class that started in COVID. Law school in itself can be quite a feat, and if you ask anyone that's been to law school, they'll tell you that the first year is the toughest year, and having to take these classes via Zoom just put that touch of toughness right on it. So it's been quite an experience, even though starting through the pandemic, we were able to manage through and get through. The coursework is more than I anticipated to be in the beginning, reading about 500 pages for a class your first year, and that's just 1 week worth of work. But through it all, I wouldn't change it for anything.
So how are you connected to the American Bar Association?
Well, my connection through the American Bar Association is actually two ways. First, as a Student Bar Association president, the SBA is sort of under the umbrella of the American Bar Association. Law schools nationwide with ABA accreditation are required to have SBA, and we're required to have monthly meetings with our members. In addition to that, I also serve on the Law Student Division Council as the delegate of programming. This is an elected position that I also ran for last spring around the same time I was running for the Student Bar Association president.
So I already asked about the experience, and I always ask about origin. So what made you want to go to law school?
My desire to start law school, I'm actually a child of Haitian immigrants, and as many may know, in 2012, an earthquake rattled the country, leaving many families displaced, and seeing the urgency that many of my countrymen had to go through, it placed a calling on my heart to pursue a career in immigration law, and law school was the only outlet for me to be able to provide that helping hand to those in need.
Have you had a chance to do any kind of work in the community, it's particularly the Haitian community here, and be able to use what you're learning in law school?
Oh yes, I have had the opportunity to not only intern at nonprofit immigration law firms, but I've also had the opportunity to participate in TPS clinics where we assisted Haitian immigrants in completing their TPS forms, and it helped hundreds of families, and this was something that I've assisted in both in Central Florida and South Florida.
That's excellent. So what area of law are you interested in practicing?
Well, as I mentioned before, immigration is what brought me to law school, but I also have an interest in entertainment law as well. Those sound like they're on the two sides of the spectrum, but having the opportunity to work in internships in both entertainment and immigration, I've learned you can combine the two, because artists, especially foreign artists, they need immigration assistance as well, and that's something many people don't think about. And there's a sports immigration avenue. I've found a niche that I could be able to combine my two interests.
Excellent. And what does it mean to be a rattler for justice to you?
A rattler for justice is someone who is unafraid to speak up, be the voice for those in need, stand in the gap, and to strike at every opportunity to stand up for any injustices.
So what do you think are some of the legal issues that we're facing right now that if you'd already passed the Florida bar and you'd be engaged in right now? Is there anything that stands out for you?
The one thing that stands out for me is voter suppression laws that are happening with the redistricting of voting precincts. It really has inhibited many of those who have been familiar with voting in one section, having to relocate or find their new voting precinct. And I feel like these kind of tools were devised to discourage those in the African American communities or those at a less advantage than others to get out there and vote.
Well, Tracy, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, we've got more Legal Connections coming up. Stay with us.